I just saw that Kelsey Mitchell's injured. I got to look more into that before talking about it. But a lot of people were joking about how Caitlin Clark is running. A lot of people were joking about how Caitlin Clark in their training practice footage, how she is running, the speed she's kind of going at, and they're like, oh, I've heard people saying she runs like an old woman. And I'm like, well, clearly there's something bothering her. And again, I think she's going to be good day one for the season. I don't think she plays on Saturday. Like, the fact is, when you've got your coach saying she's very limited is not a good sign. That is not a good sign at all, especially when it comes to, like, it doesn't seem like she has an injury. It's just tightness.
Buckle up, folks. It's time to break out the ice packs and emotional support snacks, because Stephanie White just lit a fire under this WNBA season, and it's anything but a feel-good highlight reel. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell are at the center of the storm. And let's just say the vibes are more chaos than chemistry. Someone definitely ordered drama with a side of disaster, and now fans are scrambling to figure out who's limping, who's fuming, and why WNBA injury curse is suddenly trending like a buzzer beater gone wrong.
Update that we have directly from the source in Caitlin Clark, talking about the left leg injury, the tightness she has been dealing with, but she downplayed it. Didn't seem to be too concerned with it, said maybe too much time in the gym has been led to it, so you just got to be smart. Has to be smart about recovery, but
Caitlin Clark limping off the court just days before her much-hyped face-off with Angel Reese? Oh no, basketball gods, not like this. Not today. Meanwhile, somewhere in Chicago, you just know Angel Reese was kicking back with popcorn, watching the drama unfold on her phone like it was the premiere of the next big Marvel flick. And honestly, who could blame her? The WNBA was primed for its most electric rookie showdown since Britney versus Christina, if they played power forward and drained step-back threes. But now, Clark's ankle has apparently decided it needs a timeout, leaving fans and rivals alike holding their breath.
Meanwhile, there's another story that doesn't make you go, aw, and that is the update on Caitlin Clark from Fever practice, head coach Stephanie White. Now, I'm not going to blow this out of proportion because this is normal run-of-the-mill stuff, but it's certainly worth covering and certainly worth following. So we know that the Fever, out of nowhere, we got the injury report on Caitlin Clark before the first preseason game against the Mystics, which she missed. It caught us all by surprise because there was no indication there was anything amiss.
And who had the honor of delivering this soul-crushing update? None other than Stephanie White, head coach, injury report messenger, and now unofficial dream crusher. She strolled in like the Grim Reaper with a clipboard and, in so many words, basically said, yeah, something's up, sleep tight, Fever fans. With all the subtlety of a guillotine drop, she confirmed what everyone was dreading. You could practically hear the collective groan ripple through the fan base as the most anxiety-inducing update of the season landed with a thud. And just like that, uncertainty took center stage, leaving hopes as shaky as a house of cards in a hurricane.
So today, lads, we're going to be talking about Caitlin Clark and the injury. The injury that Caitlin Clark has had, that she may or may not be ready to play on Saturday. But
Now, before we spiral into full-blown panic mode and start organizing candlelight vigils for Caitlin Clark, let's all take a collective breath. This could just be a minor tweak, a precautionary hobble, a polite little limp. Maybe her shoelace was too tight. Maybe she stepped on a rogue Lego. Or maybe, just maybe, she needed a quick break from carrying the entire Fever franchise on her back during preseason. Because, let's be real, that's exactly what she's been doing. A little rest never hurt anyone, right? We're not talking season-ending disaster here, so let's all chill out and maybe hold off on the emergency press conferences for what might just be a glorified ice pack situation.
Okay, so first off, let's talk about Caitlin's injury, because this is just something we should just get off the table. And in practice yesterday, she did bump knees with one of the guys that they were playing a scrimmage with. A lot of people started crashing out because, her health is of the utmost importance to so many people and, so many games and possibly even the whole league. I don't know.
But of course, in true sports fan fashion, Twitter exploded faster than a microwave burrito at 3 a.m. Loud, chaotic, and oddly tinged with desperation. Seconds after Caitlin Clark limped off the court, the internet morphed into an unofficial orthopedic clinic, packed with self-appointed MDs who once watched half an episode of Grey's Anatomy. "Clark's done for the season," one tweet wailed, complete with a broken heart emoji and 3 crying faces for dramatic flair. "She tore her ACL, MCL, and probably her Netflix password too," another confidently declared. And somewhere, in the chaos, someone triumphantly tweeted, "Angel Reese wins by default." Because apparently that's how sports rivalries are settled now, via hashtags and hyperbole. Seriously, calm down. Karen from Indiana City. No need to call the Vatican? We're not canonizing Angel Reese just yet. Caitlin tweaked her ankle. That's it. Not her spine, not her soul, and certainly not the entire fabric of the WNBA. It's a common athlete moment, the kind you shake off before walking it out like a pro. Injuries happen, sure, but maybe let the dust settle before we turn this into a Shakespearean tragedy directed by ESPN's drama department.
Honestly, when I'm in practice, I'm full go. Like, I'm not really playing hard with other girls I'm in last days. I've been pretty active, and there's no reason to overdo anything right now. It's playing the season. Still don't play here for another week, so I've watched it. It's really good for myself.
You know where it started? What caused it to get her?
I don't. Probably just a little too much basketball. I think, I love being in the gym, but I think understanding when to be in the gym and, when to recover and things like that. So I think just finding a balance, obviously just getting back into doing things. But yeah, there's nothing major.
And now let's talk about this Fever versus Sky rivalry that's being hyped harder than a Mayweather title fight. On one side, you've got Caitlin Clark, the basketball sorceress with a shooting range so deep it might need satellite tracking. On the other, Angel Reese, the self-anointed Bayou Barbie turned Windy City enforcer, strutting into the league with more swagger than a cat walking through a dog park. If these two had promo trailers, they'd outshine the Avengers and make Hollywood rethink its priorities. This was supposed to be The Game, WNBA's version of Taylor versus Kanye, but with rebounds instead of microphones being snatched, and now, there's a real chance half the spectacle could end up courtside in an orthopedic boot, clutching an ice pack and watching her moment roll away like a dream on wheels. The timing? So tragic it feels like Shakespeare ghost-wrote the schedule. Caitlin finally gets the spotlight. The lights are blinding, the popcorn's hot, and bam, ankle betrayal. It's like training for the Olympics for 4 years only to trip on a banana peel during the opening ceremony. Meanwhile, Angel Reese is probably out here doing defensive slides in her living room like it's Game 7 whispering, "Come on, be okay, I want the smoke."
Oh, Rob, Caitlin Clark sat out the first preseason game because of some tightness in her leg. She played the second game. You can tell she wasn't 100%. She wasn't moving as quickly as she normally does, but she played fine. So she isn't that injured. But there's some caution based upon what Stephanie White had to say. She was limited in practice and now played it.
And while we're at it, let's not forget about poor Kelsey Mitchell. Yes, her too. Because apparently the basketball gods weren't content with just one injury scare this week. No, that would have been far too kind. Instead, they decided to throw Kelsey into the chaos blender for good measure, as if the WNBA schedule needed more spice. Now she's got her own ankle issue, because of course she does. At this point, it's less a coincidence and more of a Fever franchise rite of passage. Just when a player starts heating up, boom, ankle drama. Fever fans are now pacing their living rooms, gripping foam fingers like rosaries and debating whether it's time to stage a full-on locker room exorcism. Bring the crystals. Light the sage. Cue the chanting. Because when your veteran star guard starts limping and your rookie phenom is already questionable, it's safe to say your backcourt is being held together by sheer willpower, duct tape, and maybe a couple prayers to St. Nike. Honestly, this isn't even basketball anymore. It's survival mode. And somewhere out there, you just know the ligaments are in a group chat, conspiring, "Revenge time, girls, let's roll."
It's Fever injury update day. That seems to be the major concern around the team right now is the health of its star players. Obviously, Caitlin Clark being at the top of that list. Kelsey Mitchell, though, as well. And we got a little bit of a status update on both of those players from Fever practice.
Concerns with Kelsey's fingers. She seems fine with it and just playing through
I
it.
forget about Kelsey's fingers because she was playing great with it overseas too. Certainly, her shot's a little funky in the way that it releases anyway, and I think that she's learned to protect it. So for her, it's like she's efficient. She's effective. Until she starts complaining about it hurting, no concern.
But let's be real. The Fever didn't draft Caitlin Clark to sit on the bench, icing her foot while Angel Reese racks up steals like it's Black Friday at the outlet mall. This is not the content we signed up for. We came for buzzer beaters. Logo threes, spicy trash talk, and post-game tweets that ignite international comment section wars. What we didn't come for: limp drama and day-to-day updates that sound more vague than an ex's 2 a.m. I've changed text, and oh, the headlines. Sports blogs are spiraling with more theatrics than a daytime soap. Clark's injury derails Fever's season before it starts. Next thing you know, someone's going to slap her face on a crying Jordan meme, Photoshop in a wheelchair, and claim the franchise is cursed by ancient basketball spirits. Let's all take a breath. It's probably just a minor tweak. Caitlin's ankle likely just wanted a little attention. Maybe to remind us all, hey, I exist too, and I'd like a moment. Athletes' bodies do that sometimes. They're not machines. Sometimes they demand a timeout, a little TLC, maybe a foot massage, and an Instagram caption like, Self-Care Sunday. Let's hope this is just one of those diva ankle moments, and that Clark is back dropping buckets before the panic tweets hit DEFCON 1.
Which could genuinely come down to her being, obviously, again, her trying to ramp it up, and if she's put on a lot of upper body bulk, that could affect it. A lot of things. So, you see here, the Fever are being super cautious. The Fever coach Stephanie White said she's making great progress. This is from Chloe Peterson at the Indy Star.
Still, it's hard not to panic. Fever fans have had that Sky matchup circled in red since draft day. This wasn't just a game, it was the event, the beginning of a cinematic saga. Reese versus Clark is turning into its own franchise. Long range. Fireworks versus in the paint power, the kind of matchup that practically demands popcorn and slow-motion replays. You don't cancel Infinity War over a sprained toe, but hey, let's not start writing the eulogy just yet. Caitlin Clark is built like a lead in an 80s sports movie montage. She probably limped off the court, dunked her foot in an ice bath, and hit the gym 5 minutes later in a walking boot, sinking threes while muttering, "This is nothing." She eats criticism for breakfast, sleeps with a basketball under her pillow, and treats adversity like it owes her money. An ankle flare-up isn't going to stop her from torching every WNBA defense that dares to look at her sideways. And alongside Kelsey Mitchell, she's not exactly here to play second fiddle. Let's be clear, Clark is a bucket. If she has to duct tape that ankle and rain down 53s on one leg, she will. She probably hobbled to the locker room thinking, yeah, I did that. These women are warriors, not porcelain dolls. Though at this point, the Fever's medical staff is likely bubble wrapping everyone and taping signs that say, no sudden movements, no sneezing, no vibes out of alignment near Caitlin.
But then there was the injury report, says questionable with the left leg issue. She winds up missing the game. Clark chalked it up to tightness in the leg. She plays the next day at Iowa. Of course, a significant game for the preseason considering what it meant to the fan base there. So she probably pushed through maybe a little bit more than they would have had that had been any other game. But nonetheless, a solid indicator that there's nothing really wrong and it's not overly concerning. And she's also participating.
Meanwhile, Stephanie White is probably out in the parking lot holding emergency tryouts. Can you dribble? Do you have 2 working ankles? Fantastic. Grab a jersey. At this rate, the Fever might have to phone the Indiana Pacers for backup, or see if Tamika Catchings still has one last run left in her. The whole situation has spiraled into peak sports media theater. ESPN's likely running a special titled Anklegate, The Caitlin Chronicles, while Skip Bayless is somehow blaming LeBron James for the whole thing. Somewhere in a basement, a podcast host is already predicting Caitlin's early retirement and teasing her upcoming show, Ice Packs and Disrespect. But jokes aside, let's hope this really is just a blip, because whether you love her or love to hate her, Caitlin Clark moves the needle. She's the reason your cousin from Iowa won't shut up about the WNBA. She's why your dad suddenly knows what team Alyssa Thomas plays for. She's the spark turning casual fans into diehards and haters into obsessive hate watchers. If the WNBA knows what's good for business, they'll be consulting ancient scrolls, calling in sports shamans, and doing ankle rain dances to make sure she's 100% by tip-off.
And he has a podcast called The Fieldhouse Files, which I will put in the link below if you are interested in hearing the entire podcast. We're just going to go over some of the highlights from the podcast that I thought were interesting. One of which being how Ryan Rucco feels Caitlin's ascent has been a bit underrated for like what she's actually accomplished in the league. So let's just take a listen.
I think Caitlin knows that Rebecca, Holly, and I have really taken great care to try and tell her story accurately.
And until then, all eyes are locked on the trainer's table like it's the NBA Finals of sports medicine. Will Caitlin Clark rise from the tape like a phoenix? No, not just any phoenix, but one reborn with a reinforced ankle brace, a vengeance-fueled three-pointer, and an entire nation's hopes wrapped around her foot like kinesiology tape? Will Kelsey Mitchell, orthopedic textbooks be damned, defy every known law of ligament recovery and still drop 25 like it's just another Tuesday? The questions are swirling louder than an arena crowd, but while we wait, anyone, please treat Caitlin's ankle like the national treasure it is. Slide it into a hyperbaric chamber, swaddle it in bubble wrap, and put on some Beethoven to calm that inflammation. Light a lavender candle, whisper sweet nothings like, "We need you, America needs you, Angel Reese really needs you." Because, let's face it, the WNBA isn't just heating up. It's full-blown soap opera drama, and we need all our stars standing, literally, or the whole show's about to go off script.
I'm trying to find any of like the Fever aggregation accounts, and I mean they're just showing the Scott Agnes clip of Caitlin Clark kind of moving and relocating, but she looks okay. She looks okay. Like she's still moving okay, getting in and out. And again, like you might be saying she doesn't look as fast as normal, but she still looks fine.
But let's be real. The Fever didn't draft Caitlin Clark to sit on the bench, icing her foot while Angel Reese racks up steals like it's Black Friday at the outlet mall. This is not the content we signed up for. We came for buzzer beaters. Logo threes, spicy trash talk, and post-game tweets that ignite international comment section wars. What we didn't come for: limp drama and day-to-day updates that sound more vague than an ex's 2 a.m. I've changed text, and oh, the headlines. Sports blogs are spiraling with more theatrics than a daytime soap. Clark's injury derails Fever's season before it starts. Next thing you know, someone's going to slap her face on a crying Jordan meme, Photoshop in a wheelchair, and claim the franchise is cursed by ancient basketball spirits. Let's all take a breath. It's probably just a minor tweak. Caitlin's ankle likely just wanted a little attention, maybe to remind us all, hey, I exist too, and I'd like a moment. Athletes' bodies do that sometimes. They're not machines. Sometimes they demand a timeout, a little TLC, maybe a foot massage, and an Instagram caption like, Self-Care Sunday. Let's hope this is just one of those diva ankle moments, and that Clark is back dropping buckets before the panic tweets hit DEFCON 1.